And we are streaming live right now. If you haven't seen us, just anything you need to, go ahead and click that refresh button. What? And you can
What?
see us.
Refresh.
Good job. Hey,
See, I
heads
think
up.
I
Oh,
subscribed.
wow. I'm getting an Amazon ad.
Ooh.
That's funny.
I think I'm subscribed to too many channels on YouTube.
I feel like they were listening to our conversation and therefore they knew that we were talking about Amazon and wanted to show me
You're
because I didn't already know
probably
Yeah,
right.
that
yeah,
that I
like
could get
we don't.
anything.
Yeah, like we don't already use Amazon for all it's worth.
Yeah, for every damn thing. I need groceries. Ooh, do they have that on Amazon?
Some places
They
they
do.
do.
And they do.
Like they
Not.
stopped. We talked about them stopping to give the. They used to give video credits if you didn't get your Prime stuff as quick as possible. Like if you said, "Yeah, no, it's no hurry," they'd give you a video credit. But apparently they were losing their ass, so they moved that to Amazon Pantry, which is not terrible. But
Wow, look at all the people in the chat already.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they're always
Smokes.
there. They're like crazy.
What is everybody working on tonight?
I'm working on a apple whiskey and Sprite.
I'm
I'm,
working on a gin and tonic. It's a classic.
It is a classic.
I'm working on a beer again.
Hobby streak. I had a hobby streak before we started because I is smart.
I are smart.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have my last two confrontation Cessair Celts for that one project to do.
Yay!
I'm almost certain I'll be painting more confrontation stuff for this guy, which is cool because I like those models.
Oh, I forgot to do that.
You have to do what?
Like that. I forgot to like the band that I've been listening to. It's a new ska band. Well, new to me ska band. They're
Ooh,
actually
who
local,
is it?
which is. It's called Party Like It's. ...
Nice.
I posted
I
their cover of Timber yesterday because I
need to
listened
go
to
look
it
for that.
many, many times. Because it does what every good ska cover does. It adds a horn section, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Songs are better with a horn section.
Do you listen
Almost
to this? Do you listen to the Scatolites?
occasionally, I'm more Real Big Fish. Less Than
Yeah.
Jake is technically ska, though sometimes they're a bit more punk. Streetlight Manifesto, wide variety of them.
I'm totally looking up your band right now. PartyLikeIts.com.
Well, yeah, it's PartyLikeIts.com. Yeah, they don't have like a full album out yet, but they do some covers on YouTube that are very amusing.
That's cool.
Because I love cover songs.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. I play a ton of cover songs for my kids at school. They
Someone
do
on
nothing.
Twitter asked like, "What's your guiltiest music pleasure?" I'm like, metal, hard rock, and ska covers of pop songs. Like, there's a ton out there, and they're usually really good because they're really catchy songs in general. I mean, the reason they're good pop songs. But then if you take them, put them in a genre you actually like,
Mm-hmm.
they just get better for you. Oh,
You noticed that our Twitch stream wasn't coming on.
bro.
But everybody's there, so it must be.
It's not
Yeah.
showing on the PreRamble area. I was gonna let it come on the PreRamble area. And
Hey, Case. How were your guys' weeks?
it was busy for me. I had a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of school stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a ton of kids. There was at one point I had like 3 hours off during the day while I was working to do whatever I wanted because we didn't have enough kids. Now they're like flooding us with kids, and we just got so many kids right now. I don't know if y'all may not know the stuff for regulations, but you can only have 15 kids in the classroom, and we were having a lot of problems with that.
Oh,
We were having way too many kids.
gotcha.
So But let's see, I did that, and then played some Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
you had the call out for Monster Hunter.
yeah, I was like, who's on there? Let's do some Monster Hunter. And then after that, I finished painting all my models I'm going to use at Adepticon. And I'm
Oh,
so
nice.
done doing sketch painting. I'm ready to paint regular stuff. Although I may paint, because there's just so much dry brush. It's just sitting there doing this nonstop.
Oh,
And then just doing a little bit of, touch up or whatever. And it was just
Mhm.
like, ugh, I'm just so done with it. And then I think I may paint a couple of things. There's another list that I'm really, really liking. But I think I'm taking the two lists right now with me to the next two events and see if I'm really going to go with it. If I like those two competitively, I'll keep those two. But if not, I may switch out my Heretic bump list for a Dreamer Dark Menagerie type thing. Or a Heretic Dark Menagerie. I don't know. I'm still testing it out against people I don't normally play against. So that's
fair.
my thing. I want to see with it,
Yeah, you got to get
before.
some experience with it.
Yeah. I mean, I
There's
can
like
play
I said, I've played
all
this.
guys at the shop, and it's no big deal, but there's a difference.
I like playing new people with a list just because they do stuff I don't think about and they react in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I have people I can play at things who will fall for every trick I do of a certain type, but I'm like, I mean, sure, I help perfect that particular trick, but if someone's not good with that, if someone's good against that trick, what am I learning?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
More on that later.
We have a problem with the Twitch chat again.
Um, so to segue, I actually played a game of Infinity today against Chris, my normal opponent, because the other guy who really plays Infinity, Zach, was at home doing homework because he lost power, and that's apparently not an excuse to not turn in your paper on computers. But who's judging? So we played, and we're playing the limited insertion format, which is you only get one full order group, so 10 models, which is really cool to play for certain things because it means you're not going to be, you can't go like, here's all the cheap models in the universe, good luck. Really makes you think about it, but I've been slowly teaching Chris lessons, and he falls for
All of them.
many, many, many tricks. So he looks at my list, he's like, I want you to play this. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've got my list. It's the Drew's list, one of the new non-aligned armies, and it's got 2 tags in it. Now he just sees 2 tags like, holy shit, you brought 2 tags. What the hell's going on here? Not realizing that they're both functionally light tags. They combine to 120 points or less, so it's not like they're really mean or anything. But he's so focused on that, he misses the fact that my Drew's team is just going to walk around and do horrible shit to him, and it did. Because one of them has a EM light grenade launcher, which screws up electronics and isolates people, which is bad. And since it's a grenade launcher, it can speculative fire over buildings, so I just start popping grenades off at his giant link team of heavy infantry. Start hitting him, and he fails saves, like you want to do against that when you're in heavy infantry. And basically it locks up his armor, so his models can't do anything. And what's worse is not only does that, it makes them it isolates them, so they're no longer part of the tactical net. Because the whole idea of the game is that all your models give you orders you can put wherever you want for most parts. With rare exceptions. And so it isolates them, so he doesn't get those orders even. So he's got 4 models. After turn 1, he's got 4 models sitting in the back that can't do anything because he didn't bring an engineer to fix them. So that game was over reasonably quickly because I can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, well, bring an engineer or learn stuff. You need to start, because he was so focused. Like, he was set up, he was going to go. He's like, I'll make sure I can go after both those tags. We'll take care of both those tags. Like, it wasn't the tags I was threatening you with. Like, honestly, through the first turns, the tags did nothing except, like, one of them walked forward, covered an area of the table between a objective and a building, so you could not see my model, walk behind it next turn, and go to the objective and do stuff. It was mobile armor, giant wall, worked perfectly. It didn't do anything amazing. It's just what it's supposed to do. So.
Well, how many games has he got in so far? Is he pretty new?
He's played less than me overall, but more than me recently. He's just he fixates on he's the definition of a casual gamer. He doesn't play any game beyond the moderate casual level, which is fine. We have a good time. Like even most of the games where I whoop him, he learns something. We have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to teach him little things like you need to look at this, you need to look at this. This is why this model's not good. So I'm teaching
Yeah.
him more basic lessons. So,
Well,
but it was
one of the things when you're a casual gamer is you never know what the other guy's list is. You don't know what other factions do if you're never playing against, other people. You know what I mean? Like if you're just playing the same guy with the same list, you might know his stuff, but when you're confronted with anything new, now there's all these other factors to consider. There's different strategies.
and I even made sure with these lists I printed out the Infinity Army Builder is very good. It's free. It's you have to get on the web to use it, but it actually has the option if you're on a printer to print what is called a courtesy copy of your list, which shows him everything he's supposed to know about your list. So I hand it to him before the game every time so he can look at it,
Yeah.
ask questions. He just like, oh, that's all scary, and then just gives it back to him like he didn't ask questions. It's CEM like grenade launcher. What does that do? So but it was a fun game. He learned some stuff. We continue to do that every game. The game before he fell hook, line, and sinker for my trick also, but it's fun and we're learning, and it's the great way to start playing a game, and we're getting a lot of play out of Infinity, which is a game that most people would tell you is generally not a casual game, but you can definitely play casually. It's been pretty amusing.
I also did a tournament yesterday.
Oh shit!
Did you?
Yeah, did my
Tell
tournament
us.
yesterday. I went to the tournament, and it was only 8 of us, but it was more like we had 3 people from out of town come in, and then the rest was us, which is lately that's kind of been what it is because everybody was going to different places, and everybody's got these different things to do. And so it was my first opponent was a Karchev Jaws list. And so I was like, okay, I've got, child that can deal with this no problem. And he knew it. So I was like, hey, I'm going to drop this so I can test it out against you. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm going to test this out against you. And I was like, I'm going to see what I can do. And actually, it would have been a really good game if I would have been able to get his trump to switch around, which is once you hit it, it's +2 to hit, +2 to damage. You can flip it around the board after you kill that model. And I couldn't kill 2 models.
Oh.
And I was so mad because if I would have done that, I would have flipped that over to Furied Nayslayers with that. And the Fury Nayslayers are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dice +2 against Khador Jacks. And I had a bunch of Nayslayers going in, and and I was like, okay, here's how it's going to crumble. Couldn't kill those 2 ladies, so that's it.
Yeah, prey problems are always tough.
But I mean, it was okay. It was still a good learning game because I was like, okay, I know how this is, I know how this is, etc., etc. And I was like, okay, need to try it a different way. But it wasn't bad. It was still fun. Second one was against a Crix player playing Goreshade and Dark Industry. Or Black Industries, that's what it is. And he kind of bunched up, and I just started waylaying on him, throwing everything on him. Came in from the sides with my stuff, because I had ambushed my Murder Crows, and they took out a couple of the not Night Stalkers, the Assassin Jacks. God, I can't remember their name right now.
Stalkers?
The Stalkers. Took out 2 of those. I took out that. And then I was able to proc his trump, and then that was it. I just started picking off everything and just started beating everything down, 1 on scenario. Third game, played against a Merc player, and he had put 2 Roadhogs and a Battle Boar and killed one of my Skinnamones. So I popped Child's Trump, and then walked over with a fully loaded corpse, skin and bone, and took down all three models.
Music can happen.
And he was like, "Well, that's not much I can do." And I'm like, "I know. I'm sorry." Um, but when you got a power, whenever the thing's power, what, 23,
Yeah.
there's not much you can do. So it was just, oh well, sorry. I'm working on the chat, guys. For some reason, the old chat system was not working on there. So I'm working on getting it looking better.
Like the pink better. The pink was actually a little
Pretty
more.
usable.
Yeah. It's rough on the white, but it's better on the black.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get different colors.
This is not bad too.
I need to bold it, but other than that, then I hung out with some friends, and that was about it. But we did play we played the new scenarios that are in the test packet, and we tested those out to see how that was. And that was actually pretty good. I mean, they ran pretty well. They ran smooth. Mirage, you really, really, really had to get in there, or you would lose because you had to hit all the flags. So it was good. I had a lot of fun with it. Other than that, about it.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, what did you do this week? We've been chatting all along.
So, if my parents came into town and for a few days, so I was busy preparing for that, and then I was busy, entertaining
Surviving?
them. Yeah, yeah. I did get to play my D&D on Monday night. I said, "Look, guys, I have D&D," and since my brother and I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons since we were like 9 and 10. My parents were like, "Yes, we understand. Go." I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna, you'll be asleep by the time I get back, and so D&D was fun as ever. It's 5th edition, and it did take me some time to get used to how different it is from 3.5. I will say that every time. I do miss some of the detail of having all these different skills. And when I made my character for 5th, I didn't realize that they had completely done away with your list of skills, and your intelligence did not matter with how many, skill points you had to spend. There was no such thing anymore. So I would have, and we made our characters on the point-based system.
Point by.
Yeah. So, I would have spent those points on something else than having a higher intelligence. I'd have been stupider because I'm a fighter. So I don't need to be smart.
I've played a lot of smart fighters. Actually, we did an old school 3d6 in order campaign in I guess 2nd edition a while ago, and I ended up with a fighter because I really wanted to play a fighter who had a 15 intelligence and a 16 wisdom. My strength was like 10. They're like, "Why are you a fighter?" Because I want to play a fighter. Suck it.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't say I was good.
I was plenty good. I was a peasant warrior, short sword and short spear,
scrappy. I'm really scrappy.
I was scrappy. It was still back then. You still had proficiency, so it mattered a bit. I had a bunch of stuff. Like it was fun.
Did you have any kind of a dex?
Not a bonus. I mean, come on, 3d6 in order. I got a 15 and a 16. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just didn't use them. It goes so back then, like how little at a point. Like it's in that edition. Literally, if you didn't get to a certain point, your stats didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're between, freaking like 6 and 14. That shit basically doesn't matter except in a couple places.
Yeah.
Talk to me when you hit 15s and we'll talk. And it doesn't always matter.
So we played D&D, and then we played a lot of cards. I grew up in Minnesota. That's where my parents are from. So, You know, we played cards the way that Minnesotans play cards,
A lot of alcohol.
which is no, there was a
Oh.
lot of coffee. I did make a lot of coffee, and my dad did not exaggerate when he said that I have the slowest brewing coffee pot ever. I need a new coffee pot. Let's just say it that way. So we didn't play cribbage. We didn't play cribbage. I got them a fancy double deck Da Vinci plastic, you know, bridge playing cards because they've got this game they play together. They call it double solitaire. And so you shuffle 2 decks together to play this game. And the only time I ever play it is when I'm visiting with them.
And then you set the cards on fire because fuck that. Like,
oh no,
solitaire is already not easy, and now you're gonna add an extra level of complexity by having 2 decks.
Now you're competing with the other person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a whole different level there.
Competitive solitaire. That's makes my brain hurt. The only time we used 2 decks together is when we had 15 people, almost 15 people playing Hearts together. So we had 2 decks together, and one of them was an old dealer deck, so it had a hole in it, you know, because it's cut through the whole bunch. So like those cards are higher than the other cards of the same number. Like, okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Easy to keep track of. That was my introduction to Hearts.
Oh, Mom and Dad asked me, they're like, so, we could play Pinochle. Hey, when's the last time you played Pinochle? And I'm thinking back, I'm like, well, when Grandma was still alive?
My response would have been, the fuck is Pinochle?
That's because you're not Minnesotan.
I am not.
See, now when I was in the military, we played a ton of hearts, spades, all that.
She said play cards. I'm like, oh, cool. What card games did you play? Oh, she meant cards.
We played cards. And that's the Minnesotan way of playing cards. You play cribbage. You play, you know, with these crazy solitaire games. You're playing gin rummy. You're playing, you know.
Don't you at least have a copy of Apples to Apples to play? I know your parents probably wouldn't get down with Cards Against Humanity, understandably. But Apples to Apples, it's like nice Cards Against Humanity.
You know how my dad plays Apples to Apples? He puts the cards face down in a pile in front of him.
And just chooses one at random?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And he wins. He wins that way.
That's even better.
So
that wouldn't happen with Cards Against Humanity, but that's another story.
On the other hand, that could make some amusing answers.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're all amusing, really.
I found the problem was my family plays Apples to Apples. My mind's still in Cards Against Humanity mode, so I'm putting these answers, and it gets to my one aunt, and she's like, "Oh, that's terrible," and I'm like, "That one's mine. I'm just gonna throw it out there. We're not winning." I'm like, "That was some funny shit there." You know, half my family's laughing. She's a little more conservative than the rest of us, but you know, most of them are chuckling at least. I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta know the audience better.
I need a bigger group for if I'm gonna play Apples to Apples. You know, just my mom and dad and me. No.
Fair. 3 people is not necessarily the best.
I just saw a Congo's thing that John helped him dojo Cricks, and I'm like, I don't blame you.
I did. Again.
I don't blame you. As a K-Door player, I don't blame you right now. 1, they're pretty boring to play, and 2, there's a lot of other things out there that are awesome.
So I thought boring to play was like one of their design features. Because I had K-Door for a bit that I ended up trading for Signar because I'm like, this is all fine, but it's not as exciting as other stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't blame you. Cricks is pretty fun. If you want to play K-Door and Cricks, wait till June, and you can play Crucible Guard, which is Cricks K-Door.
So, public service to everyone out there who wants to play Crucible Guard. Talk to your store or your source, whatever it may be, because it is going to be the hotness. Everyone is going to wish to play this. And you're going to need to get your stuff because otherwise it's going to be out of stock until they restock for a while. And God, as an aside, I think that could hurt a lot.
Did they do these?
Talk with your local group.
Did they do these combo things with other factions, or is
Oh,
this
yeah.
like a new thing?
No, it's just a new faction. It's a limited faction. They're going to come out, but everyone wants to play them because the design aesthetic is exceedingly steampunk. It is more steampunk than the rest of this stuff.
And it's
So
So,
a
what you would think
ton of
War
people,
Machine should be.
yeah, people are going to
well,
want to play
yeah.
this. So, but the thing is, supply and demand. The demand is going to
Now,
be super high. The supply is going to be PP standard, which means that if everyone's trying to play it, not everyone's going to be able to. And there's going to be a lot of people with partial collections. It's going to be it. It is a perfect recipe for disaster. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to be a downer. And maybe PP is ready for it. Maybe PP is like, we know this is going to be hot. We've heard the people. We got a ton of stuff coming out. I really hope so, because it is the recipe for disaster. I mean, it's like I said, it's a fine line. Look, every time something big comes out, everyone wants to play it, and suddenly, even regular board games. Oh, this new game came out. It's got all the hotness. Everyone loves it, and no one can find it because everyone bought it.
mm-hmm.
You could
And
also
then-
do what a lot of Grimkin players do they're playing Grimkin now. They waited till it came out and then bought everybody that didn't like it on a cheap sale.
Oh, yeah.
That's my plan. Not lying.
Okay, I can see this strategy, and for I will keep it in mind for when I decide to jump on that War Machine wagon.
When you decide to jump on, remember that right now the secondary market is super duper buyer friendly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people getting out for various reasons, and you can usually find stuff in the secondary market cheap. I mean, it's always pretty good secondary market for miniature games, but it's really good right now.
Yeah, you're getting your models for pretty much 50%.
Yeah,
Easily
they
50%.
They generally start at 50% and then see from there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty easy.
Oh my God, getting close to end of PreRamble. We preambled the hell out of that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We had a lot going on.
We rambled on.
Well, of course.
I didn't even get to talk about the Armada campaign we just started, but
What?
I plan on talking about
Hey,
during
you've got
minis and movies.
you've got 2 minutes, pal. Talk.
You ruined it. That was a segue. I was plugging minis and movies. 'Cause I'm going to talk about minis and movies.
Which, check out Minis and Movies. You got to become a patron subscriber to do that. We let one for free, and we hope that people jump in on that because you get a lot of stuff for what we're doing. You get my review of board games, John's review of Minis and Movie, and Kathy's painting videos on top of that.
Yep.
So it's really, really good. Kathy, are you doing OSL this month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ton of people I could
yes,
sell on that. I gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to
The
the
March
guy.
video is object source lighting. So
That'll be a lot to go in there. Also, we are going to schedule the sing-along. We are going to do something a little bit different for the people that did pay into that. And yes, I will be singing something, but it may or may not be country. I'm going to get with my team.
when do we do the barbershop trio?
I think that's what we're going to be doing.
The
You just have to
three
wait
of
and
us
see.
Singing
Uh,
in disharmony.
We're going to talk about that when we get off. When we go, 'cause I got something we're going to try to do.
it's more horrifying than me watching the Emoji Movie, which I am committed to do
Yes.
since I
Oh,
won't
I'm
be
so
singing.
sorry.
We'll chat after the cast. It is better than me singing
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah. So we got something planned for that. Also, don't forget we have a new episode of Dawn of the Harbinger coming up on Tuesday, guys. We have to stream on Tuesday because everybody had plans on Wednesday. And you
Fair
get
enough.
to find out what happened to all the characters after all the Jedis were dun 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 dun. Watch last episode.
So is this going to
Fill
be
in the
on
blank.
Tuesdays from now on because
No.
of conflicts, or just this one time?
Just this one time.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody just had a lot of different things going on. So we're like, yeah, want to
Life.
do it Tuesday? Yeah.
Life happens.
I mean, for old adults, yep, we're gonna have that issue. All right, guys, we're gonna go shut it down real quick, and then we'll bring it right back up. I don't think. I mean, you go pee.
Alcohol.
Oh, John got more
I
alcohol.
always do, but I'll attempt to wait.
No, all right, we're gonna come back in 2 minutes, guys. All right, what was it 2 and 2?
Now it's 7. It's 7 o'clock. We have to start.